Hi, this is Scot Pekarek, founder of the Real Estate World podcast. I have a question for you. How would you like the opportunity to work with an industry thought leader who knows not only how to grow your business, but make you a better person? Have I got your attention now? What if I told you that there's a $1 billion brand out there and that brand is you? Yeah, I'm serious. It's you. So if you'd like to start realizing your full potential and work with a guy who actually gives a shit about you, your business, your life, your favorite color, everything about you, go to realestateworld.tv, register, and put I believe in the comments. What's that going to do? Well, it's going to get you a phone call from me personally, and we're going to spend an hour learning about you personally and find out what challenges, what opportunities, what fears, what brings you joy. Basically, in 1 hour, I'm going to dig deep into your soul and find out how, why, who, how, when, whatever, and come up with a plan to help you be not just a better leader in business, but also a better human being.
Hi-ya! Welcome to the Real Estate World podcast. I am your host, Scot Pekarek, reporting live from an undisclosed location here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm telling you, I love this mask, but I think it's going to have to come off here because I am like creating word salad as I go here. I'm here at my brother and brother-in-law's house, Jesse Pekarek and Brian Myers, the P&M Farm here in sunny, very sunny Phoenix, and there's very sunny right in my face right now. Sitting here with Jesse, wearing one of my authentic Tumor Tales hats. I brought one down for him. I forgot to bring one for Brian, but I definitely will be back here in 3 weeks for Thanksgiving. So we'll do the turkey trot, which I think we all have to sign up for yet.
You did. I have not.
Okay, so we'll bring more hats. Make sure Garrett and Brian get one, and and the kids. Yes, Brian is off stage here playing with some dolls. Anyway, I am just fired up today. I can tell you, we haven't done the weekly podcast as religiously this past month. I've been kicking out a lot of content related to my Tumor Tales YouTube channel, and that's just a really lame excuse. I love doing this podcast. I love talking about real estate. I love embracing the disruption that is out there, and I'm telling you, I brought some fire today. Also, I brought a second place trophy for Jesse and Brian. See, we do this thing for Halloween every year where we have a yard decorating contest, and I started festivities off by just apologizing to the the state of Arizona and the city of Phoenix for the drubbing that Jesse and Brian were going to get this year, and the apology was really, I'm going to beat them so soundly that they may never decorate again, and they have a formidable display. I will tell you, having viewed it now personally for the first time, I am impressed. It's still second place, but it would probably win. It would win the award in most contests.
Garrett, I think you must go retrieve Scott's second place trophy. There is something to be said. I have to say, I was not expecting Scott to be knocking at my door late morning, and we had to work very diligently, very, very sensitive to the effects of time, but we were able to manage a number 2 trophy, and I'll hold the suspense until it arrives. But,
all right.
But it was quite epic.
And this is Jesse for those of you that are listening in at home and don't have the luxury of video. So one thing we're doing today too, as they retrieve my trophy, is I'm we're doing the podcast live on Facebook, and I'm working with some new equipment. I've got a lapel microphone that I've got hooked up wirelessly to my cell phone. Oh, here we go, Jesse. Oh, look at this. A donkey, horse, dung, number 2.
A number 2 trophy made of number 2.
Number 2. Yeah, this is lovely. Garrett, I will hand this back to you. Thank you. Thank you,
job,
Jesse,
Scott.
Brian,
It was a
Garrett.
valiant effort.
It really made my day to just get further affirmation of the not just the breadth of my win, but just the suffering that these guys are enduring because of just knowing that they were beaten so resoundingly. Anyway,
I am just so blessed you had a chance to see this all in person. So all this BS has been joined with some more BS.
Well, in all seriousness, though, like for those of you listening, if you do come to Phoenix, definitely check out the P&M Farms. They have 3 miniature ponies and 2 miniature donkeys, a couple dogs, 2 very small tortoises, I guess, that are the subject of the Tuesday tortoise talk you do here?
Yes, we have Tortoise Talk Tuesday at 10 with Turbo and Tina, which all started when Garrett was finding tortai around the farm. Neighbor found 7. Garrett's found 3 so far.
Wow.
So, yeah,
they will grow to be 300 pounds. They literally fit in the palm of your hand right now. It's pretty amazing.
And they also are skilled and experts at giving tortoise toga. That's a treatment we provide
tortoise
here
toga.
at the farm.
Not yoga.
So, not goat yoga. Tortoise toga. It's quite a ticklish.
Oh, that's fantastic. So anyway, that is also awesome. You can watch that on Facebook Live every Tuesday. It's 10 a.m. Well, you guys are Phoenix time,
Phoenix time. So right now
you don't participate in daylight savings time, so you will not be falling back tomorrow night. The most of the country will be. Keep that in mind. Daylight savings time ends tomorrow, Saturday. Today's November 1st. For those of you listening to this later in the year, don't set your clocks back randomly. Anyway, I'll tell you, we're in a weird time of year for real estate professionals. This is we've just come out of shoulder season, and now we're moving into kind of this weird part of the market where things generally slow down throughout the holidays. The irony is that a lot of times they slow down before the holidays. So October can be a weird, scary month for sellers because a lot of the buyers disappear because they're looking at closings that are maybe going to happen around the holidays and they don't want to do that. And when we get to December, things tend to pick up a little bit because buyers are out in force. They're like, well, if I buy a home now, I'm not going to move till the end of January when I have absolutely nothing to do. So, except for maybe the Super Bowl, then it's just nothing from February to May until it warms up in Minnesota. But a lot of agents this time of year start spending a lot of time looking for different brokers. They start blaming everybody but themselves for having an unproductive year. Real estate, Jess, you know this more than anybody. It's a contact sport. All right. It is a sales in general is a contact sport. The more contacts you make, you generally tend to do better. 6 months. And if you're a Kirby vacuum cleaner salesperson, I don't know if they exist anymore. Your sales life cycle is much shorter than if you're a real estate agent. Really, we look, and you can hear the Halloween stuff still making some noise here. But anyway, you see this life cycle. For a real estate agent, it could be anything from 6 to 12 to 18 months, depending on where they meet people. And for a lot of new people who get in this industry, they get really freaked out, right? Because they could go 6 months without a paycheck, right? And as you nurture people and you build trust and you build confidence and stuff. And one interesting thing, I can generally tell you the salespeople in our industry who are going to be successful 6 months from now. And it's all about the numbers. What are the contacts that they're making today? And what's your experience been with this, Jesse?
As far as what drives a successful agent, or
is it any different down in Phoenix? Or Phoenix is just everybody makes millions of dollars a year by just laying on their couch and eating Snickers bars and Cheetos.
Well, we have lots of different types of Snickers around here. Snickers candy, Snickers the horse.
Snickers the horse.
I think it was interesting. Speaking of the Phoenix market, and when we were at the Inman Connect conference in Vegas, the gentleman had mentioned in one of our podcasts how Phoenix is such a testing ground for a lot of new industries, from iBuyers to concepts. And I can't speak for Minneapolis, but it is a bee's nest in Phoenix with the amount of different companies, different models they're testing here. So as we were
we are kind of in disruptor central here. We are in the ground zero for disruption. All of these new companies, real estate companies, tend to make Phoenix one of their testing grounds for whatever reason. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason. I don't know what it is.
Well, I think part of it is we are the number one county in the country with people migrating here. I mean, so we've got a lot of people continuously coming here, and we're
a lot of turnover.
We've got a lot of development. A lot of industries are coming here and building and growing, and I think that's part of it. And I think more so than probably many places, because of all the disruption, because of all the different business models, as an agent, you better figure out really fast how to stand out and how to be recognized and how to differentiate yourself to show some value against all these other models that are coming in.
Right. Well, and I know that we were maybe going to talk about knock today, but I think we're going to push that one back. And and speaking of disruptors, because there's a real controversial topic right now in the industry, and my chosen disruptor. We're going to wait a minute on that. We're not going to tell you quite yet, but it's going to be a controversial one. What have you seen in this Phoenix market? Is it cyclical, kind of like the Twin Cities market when the winter comes as things slow down?
Yes and no. The numbers will show that, summer slows down a little bit with the heat, the holidays, of course. Last year, I thought was a very interesting year with it seemed to slow down in July or so and really didn't get cranking again until around February. And, I did so many home tours trying to figure out what was going on with it was midterms. There was a lot of things that were speculative as far as why things were slow. But it cranked back up again in February. But we don't really see, me personally, I don't really see as much of a cyclical as you probably do with a.
Right. Well, we have definite seasonality in Minnesota where things do obviously slow down in the holidays, and can get pretty lonely in the office in December because agents just kind of start hiding. And I don't know, maybe they're hibernating or something, and that's been the case. Ever since I've been in the business, I tend to go to work every day. Yes, with a brain tumor. But the reality is that a lot of agents kind of check out, and it's not necessarily bad to take a break, take some vacation time, recharge the batteries. I mean, it is kind of a for those of you not in real estate, I mean, it is an industry that requires a lot of evenings and weekend work, and I happen to be in very busy the last several months. I haven't noticed a huge slowdown, but it will come. It'll come in November, December. But it's a great time to recharge the batteries. Come up with a lot of agents are working on business planning for next year at this point. In our brokerage, we've spent a ton of time and effort trying new tools and new techniques and stuff, and try to give better service and really enhance that home selling or home buying experience. And we do property management as well, which is another ingredient in this awesome cake that is our real estate career. So I've heard a lot this summer that the Fed just lowered interest rates again, which a lot of times those are already baked into where mortgage rates are at. But that's the Fed saying that they're not seeing as strong of an economy as as they're hoping for. They're hoping for 4% annual growth. I think they got 1.8 or 1.9%. These are macroeconomic numbers that mean very little to the average person. There is some concern that maybe our real estate market is maybe getting a little overheated. It's always really good until it's not. I expect there'll probably be some type of correction in the next 12 to 15 months. Yeah, getting a little warm. What does that mean? Well, it means if you're a seller, it's a really good time to sell is now, because you're likely to be maxing out. And if you're a buyer, there might, there's some fear with some buyers, like where, should I buy now? Or, my answer is always, look, if you're going to be there 5 to 10 years, small corrections aren't going to make that much of a difference, right? I mean, now we had the Great Recession of 2008, 2009, when that, when the wheels fell off the bus. But even that, we came back. It took us 10 years. Right, but if you were, if you bought in 2007, like Mr. Moron Scott did, I sold in.
I'll join you there.
Yeah. I sold in 2017. Everything came back. I sold a house and bought a house, so I had the benefit of selling in a really good market and buying, unfortunately in a really elevated price market. But then I just stayed put for 10 years. So, and I know for a lot of folks that, that was a very miserable time, especially if you had to move. What a lot of people ended up doing was renting their properties. So, if there's a correction, I'm not concerned about it, because for most folks, they'll be, you got to, if you're looking long, you're gonna ride it out. If you've got a short-term event that's gonna cause you to sell, hey, you can look at renting it. For some people, they absolutely don't want to rent. Well, that's okay, but that is an option. So, anything to add on that? Jess, add to that.
No, I think you nailed it all correctly. How I see it as well. That same thing. If you're looking to potentially stay in a house 3 to 5 years, you could probably plan on just breaking even after closing costs and whatnot after 3 years or so. But yeah, I have the same opinion. If you're planning on staying 7-10 years and that's going to be your home, and you want to add your own personal touches, landscaping, and don't want to do it for your landlord, then make it your home. And
yeah, one thing just came up yesterday, or no, this morning actually. Somebody's asking, again, I get this question all the time. They're like, is real estate a good investment? And I'm like, buying a home for yourself. I'm like, well, there's investment properties, rentals, right, and other types of investment, rehabs, and commercial properties. We can talk about that for days. But when people ask about their home, I'm like, well, yeah, it is, but maybe not in the way you think. Like, is it a good financial investment? Well, I've pretty much lost money on every house that I've owned when you factor all the improvements we did once we moved in, right? So if you ask me if it's a good financial investment, the answer is it depends. Where you're really making the investment is in your lifestyle and your happiness, right? Like, I do all kinds of improvements to my house that maybe someone else wouldn't see the value in, right? Like, I have, I like having speakers in the ceilings of every room, basically, and outside in the front yard and the backyard. The guy who installed them said this is the first time anyone's ever installed speakers in the front yard, or he's ever done it for anyone. And the reason we did it is we like to sit on the porch and watch the kids go up and down the cul-de-sac, right? And we like to have the music there. And it was, am I going to get a dollar for dollar return on that? I don't know, and I don't really care, because the return I'm getting is my happiness. And when you're happy, what does that do for your productivity at work?
When you're happy, and Scott, this is such a great point. When you're happy, exactly, you're waking up with more of a drive in your business, in your career, in your relationship, and you're a better goal setter. You create more lofty goals to make you strive to do more things, greater things, and it's an overall betterment of life.
Yeah, it really is, and that's where I tell people that's your, if owning your home and being able, like, you want to plant a garden, or you want to, get a hot tub and your landlord won't let you. If all these things give you joy and happiness, well, then it's a great investment. It's really hard to quantify how much more productive you're going to be, how much better and loving your relationships are. Having your kids, like for us, yeah, I'm the stereotypical guy who had kids and moved to the suburbs. All right, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Just like I love living in the city, for 20 odd years, right? But now it's just our lifestyle. I'm much more comfortable. Like most of the neighbors have kids, so we're all kind of on the same page mentality-wise, looking out for the kids. And there's other kids who are older who watch the kids, and they zip up and down the cul-de-sac, and it's awesome. It's fantastic. I could not be happier. Now, I've recently had some health challenges that made me not happy, but. Even that, like, it's a more healing environment too. Like, I throw on some jazz and sit in either in the basement or the living room and have my speakers in the ceiling. Yeah, they cost me some money, but damn it, I love it because I can sit in any room in my house, listen to some jazz. It relaxes me, and that's good for healing too, right? Less stress, less inflammation. It's good for your health. So, is real estate, buying a home, a good investment? I absolutely think it is. Is it a good financial investment? Yeah, I think it is, but not in the way you might think, right? Like when at the end of the day, my last house, I'm sure I lost $50,000 by the time it was done with all the improvements we did to that house. And do I regret it? Not one penny. All right, it's because I loved that house. I loved where we lived. I loved my neighbors, and it was at that point in my life, it was fantastic. So anyway, anything else to add? And
No, I feel the same way, and up until about I would say 4 months ago, I was on that other end of the scale where I was a little more cautious, a little more conservative, and through some experiences, conferences, just some life-changing things with this guy, with my brother Scott and my other brothers and brother-in-laws and sisters-in-laws, and gave me that confidence to invest a little bit more and expand my horizons and enhance my own life, and not just about keeping money tucked away for the next recession, the great who knows what, and to go for it.
Well, and that's awesome. One thing that I want to add, and gosh, we're going to go long today again, aren't we? We always go long. I like to tell people like the equipment we're using. So this is my little lapel mic here that is hopefully going wireless to. We're recording on iPhones here, which we're trying different stuff, and we're also using what's called a Zoom recorder. That's what these microphones are, which gives us a higher quality audio, which we're going to upload into. We use Libsyn as our podcast host. So and I'm actually developing a course for new podcasters. We're going to make it really inexpensive, and it's going to get you up and running for in 30 days or less for under $300. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be launched in November if things go right. Anyway, so last thing I want to add is just yes. So many, I had someone I was talking to the other day about retiring, and I'm like, I don't really ever plan to retire in its traditional sense. When you talk about it, I plan to work until I'm 150 years old, but I plan to live my retirement lifestyle now, like coming and visit my brother in Phoenix, a few hundred bucks for a plane ticket to come down here. My wife and kids are down in Florida, with my wife's sister, and just happened, I booked this trip. I'm here for a workshop. I'm trying to get better. And everyone who knows me knows I'm a work in progress. All right. I am on the potter's wheel constantly. But, at least I know it. But, they booked this trip to Florida while I'm here. So, it's awesome. And I'm really happy that they're able to do that, that there's an abundance mindset there. Like, no matter if you have, $0 in your pocket or, $1 zillion, you can live. You can live an abundant life. You got to have an abundant attitude, and I'm not always of that mindset. Like there's days I have bad days, right? I have bad mornings, and you gotta forgive yourself and move forward. So on that note, I'm gonna forgive myself for just being long-winded. I want to put in a quick plug. We're drinking.
Yes.
These cups are Happy Hooves. This is your nonprofit, Jesse.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Happy Hooves was born February of this year. Long story short, we acquired this property 3 years ago. Many of you know my brother and I, we grew up in a dairy farm in Minnesota. We've done nonprofit work for 12 years now, but one of the things we've shifted focus from helping underprivileged children. We grew up very poor.
I'll be the first to tell you. If there was a government program, we were on it. Food stamps. On it.
Yeah.
Government cheese.
On it.
Free lunch.
Yep, got it.
Medical assistance.
Yeah.
Heat assistance.
Pick me.
WIC.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The caring tree or whatever that.
The giving tree.
The giving
tree. Angel tree.
Angel tree.
So
we were on every. No one was pouring us. You could take that to the bank. There won't be any money there, but you can take that.
Well, that was our thing where I finally got myself established down here after losing it all from the crash and then building it back and having something we wanted.
What did that feel like? I mean, because this is
devastating.
Yeah.
I was debating between moving back to Minnesota. I didn't know what to do. I had my house in the market. If it sold, I was going to stay or go. To be honest, there were so many things going on at that time. We were talking about coming back to Minnesota. And look, when you've got nothing, you don't know where to turn. You don't know where to go. And I think I think many people experience the same thing. And it was just all about survival. Like many of other people.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I made a pivot to REO just in time, or else it could have easily been me too. Like, and tried helping people with short sales and stuff. And I remember that time. Like you were.
Oh, I went from job to job to job, and I mean, if there was, God, you know what? And it all benefited me to who I am today. I mean, I started my career down here as a teacher, and I helped work on running a online school with my staff, and did that for about 4 to 5 years. I had a background in biotechnology, but my degree was in biology teaching. So anyway, I did loans for a while before those companies were going out of business. Which one was that I worked at? All the Ninas, CISAs, all the loan types we don't see anymore. But again, it was survival.
We're seeing some loan types in different non-prime.
Yes,
is the new subprime. Maybe not as stinky and steamy as the last pile of manure, but
yeah. And then I went and sold property in Mexico for a while in the Baja Peninsula in San Felipe, and and then I ran. I was basically an operations manager for a hard money lender, and I managed their portfolio and decided I got to dictate how much money we'd give out and inspect the properties for people buying at the foreclosure auctions. And, it gave me a lot of different background skill sets. There's some other things I did. I worked for an investment company for a while and managed a lot of their things with their portfolio.
Yeah.
But it was survival. And you just had to keep going to try to keep going.
Well, and those were like rough years. I remember like it was, you showed some grit, right? You could have easily just given up. And I was going to hire you, I think, because I was, again, I remember we were shoveling snow to make money. Like we were doing like whatever we could, and not that I'm above shoveling snow, right? I'm scooping up manure probably tomorrow.
I'm not
this
above
weekend
making
here
a
with
second place trophy in pumpkin shape out of my horse and donkey poop for you either.
Yeah,
we're not above anything.
Yeah, no. My line with people who work for me sometimes is I'm like, I'm not above doing any job, but if I'm doing your job, then we're probably in trouble as a company. So Jesse has one of the most amazing relationship type selling process where he's not. As a salesperson, if you listen to your customers and you take care of them and you work to educate them and you treat them wonderfully, it's not selling. It's just relationship based consulting or education is what you really become, right? You become an educator in the real estate business. And
I'm really fortunate to have a teaching background, and I did teach some classes at libraries and banks during the short sale days and the foreclosure days, and I leaned into that about how, and I still do it now. How you educate buyers. I use this graduated cylinder about explaining mortgage insurance and LTVs, loan to value, and my biology background, but. Yeah, to your point, if you want to get into real estate and if you don't like people, then find a different career. You need to enjoy being around people, and I love learning about people. I love hearing their stories, and I love to be able to be a part. And when you are invited to be a part of their family, invited to their weddings, invited to their child's 1-year-old or first birthday, second birthday, and next thing you know, you're invited to their weddings, it's the most.
Well, I always say that you should be friends by the time the transaction's over. Sometimes you're not, but that's the goal. Is you should be friends, and like when you do, like you don't have a client appreciation event, you have a friend appreciation event because you really get to know people on an intimate level, and you see some neurosis. I see it out of myself. When buying a house and just living every day, I've got my own quirks, and I'm not. But you get to see that in other people, and you see some real vulnerability, and you have to just let people know, hey, it's okay if you're freaked out. Like buying can be an emotional roller coaster. Selling in some markets can be really frustrating because you're not in control of the situation. You don't have in this market we've been spoiled a little bit. Most things sell multiple offers, but not everything.
Well, and when you feel like you're doing everything correctly, you're pricing the property, and this brings me back to last year. Last July, I was like, what the heck is going on? You're pricing things right. Your feedback's good. Be patient. and you're still not getting that buy. It is people forget how stressful it is selling a home as well when you feel like you're checking all the boxes, but that
Right.
buyer at the right time just has not shown up yet.
I agree. And as an agent, you start thinking, what the hell is wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? Like, I didn't just suddenly like turn into a moron, right? Like, I didn't like forget everything that I knew. So, anyway, just get back on topic.
Shoot, I'm sorry.
No, we are on topic. This is fantastic. But
The nonprofit.
The nonprofit.
So Happy Hooves, it is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our mission statement is to provide animal-assisted therapy and activities for those in need, and those in need could be anyone
I'm
from
gonna say, put that in like real people terms.
real people terms. We use our animals to help people feel good,
Awesome.
whether it be dementia, Alzheimer's, autism, Down syndrome. We've had people that come here for depression. That a sad story that someone's boyfriend committed suicide, and they came here religiously for about a year, and for whatever the need, and we just decided, and that was at the same time Anthony Bourdain committed suicide, and these situations were happening, and
So sad.
we just opened up our farm and say, hey, call me if anyone needs some therapy from these animals, because I don't take it for granted, but when I get to receive what they give every day, morning in and evening out, I don't take it for granted, but it's a luxury I have, and we're here to share that to help people.
Yeah, and you guys, you're building a guest house.
Yes. So it has been crazy here. Number one, we just got our experiences. If you don't know, Airbnb has I don't know how new it is, but it's a thing on Airbnb that they promote and advertise experiences. And one of their experiences are with animals. And we've created an experience that it's basically learning about miniature horses and miniature donkey care. So if you want to come by sometime, you can sign up, mornings and evenings, learn about the care of an animal. And I especially encourage people, if they're considering adopting a horse or a donkey, to understand more, because I grew up in a dairy farm, and there's so much I thought would be so similar, but it's so not.
Equine? Is that what you know?
Equine, horses and donkeys.
Yeah, and my kids love this place. They're going to be here for Thanksgiving.
Well, you guys could book at the guest house.
Yeah, I'm going to say, once the guest house is built, they may never leave.
Guest house should be done by end of January. We just
awesome.
got the approval on a few things, big important things. So
people are going to actually be able to stay here.
they could stay here.
They
It'll
can
be on
rent the guest-
Airbnb. It'll be a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath, vaulted
gosh.
ceilings. I'll have a nice little porch looking at the mountains.
I
the
want
animals.
the first week.
You okay?
All right, I will be down here. We will podcast from the guest house. It'll be epic.
Super excited.
It will be epic. Okay, so Happy Hooves website.
HappyHoovesAZ.org.
All right, and then your personal website.
My personal website is
For real estate.
jessepekarek.com. Facebook.
If you want, and I can't stress this enough, Jesse is fantastic with building relationships that last, and has just been an inspiration for me as far as like me trying to aspire to be better.
Well, thank you. Thank
yeah.
you.
So
that actually is our tagline: building relationships that last.
yeah, forever. Like, we want to be lifetime relationships. That's my goal too. Like, it's not a transaction. It's like a lifetime relationship. You need one of us and this is any agent out there or mortgage, loan officer. You need to think of that, life that be there, that service beyond the sale, right? Like, it should be a lifetime commitment, right? To just being awesome,
Well, and I don't like to use the word tagline because it sounds salesy, but I mean, again, I call it something, but that's that's what I try to do, and I try to summarize what our business is about here, and that's really the heart and soul of building relationships. But speaking of that, I think we're on our 10th year of delivering poinsettias every year. That's one of the things I love doing, and I'm in the middle of making bows right now. But I had a client, I sold his house 9 years ago, and speaking of relationships at last, he received that poinsettia every year, and obviously I don't name names, but every year he took that poinsettia to his grandmother, and I just
awesome.
love to hear these stories.
Yeah.
You get to find out more and more about people and their families, and you get to be a part of that, and
no, that's fantastic.
It's super cool.
So, all right, so we are
all over the place.
We are all over the place, but we in the news. So, I want to talk disruptor this week.
So people know when they hear me on Tortoise Talk Tuesday or Snow Cone Thursday where I get this from.
Yeah, like no,
This guy.
it's like you and I will talk for like 3 days. Like Rip Van Winkle will have woken up by the time we're done talking. Anyway, in the news, so the disruptor spotlight here. What do we got this week? Well, it's not your traditional disruptor, but they are making waves and headlines, and I've decided to go with NAR. All right, the National Association of Realtors, and some of the local MLSs. So NAR has created controversy because it's come out with there's rumblings. Now let me back up. So we got to talk about what is a pocket listing. Okay, Jesse, do you know what a pocket listing is?
A pocket listing is basically a listing agent who has, with the owner's consent, and basically an exclusivity of that property. And typically, well, I'll let you finish.
Well, okay, so I'm mixed. So pocket listing, basically, I know this house is coming. I start marketing it. I don't put it on the MLS. I might put a sign in the yard. I might start posting on Facebook. I might, I'm saying but I mean any agent might just,
it's not in the public yet.
Right, it's not in the public. So I do not think pocket listings are great for you as a seller unless you fit some certain criteria. So I don't want to make a blanket statement like I don't think they're good. They are good in some cases. Sometimes somebody wants a quiet sale and they just don't want like a million people coming through, and they're like, just tell it to a few people. And sometimes that's estates. Sometimes it's regular sellers who say, hey, if you just got someone, I'm good with this price. Let's just get it done quietly. All right. That's a scenario where it might work. Now you have other situations where, like, for me, most times, I want to get as much money as I can, right? Like everybody, in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassle, right? The best price, least amount of time, least amount of hassle, right? So what does that mean? Well, it could mean different things for different people. Hey, if I don't ever have to show my house, I don't have to get it ready to market, I don't have to pay anybody to come in and do anything, you know what? I'm willing to take, maybe I can get 5% more, but I don't care. I just get rid of my, I just want a quick, smooth transaction without a lot of headache. And that's okay. That is absolutely fine. Now, for me, I don't mind doing the work, so I'm like, I would rather push it out of the market, get multiple offers, drive the price up, hopefully get a good, strong buyer. And, look, guys, price isn't always, highest price isn't necessarily the best offer, right? What if it's, I can offer you $1 billion for your house, but my terms are $1 a year for 1 billion years, right?
Yeah.
Or I got someone who's 3.5% down versus cash, and the cash can close in a week, and I want to get out of here in a week. I might take less money. So there's no one blanket answer for all this. People tend to paint in broad blah 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 Halloween, John Dracula, broad brush strokes. All right,
which is why we have so many of these new business models in the real estate industry, because of all the different values.
Yeah, you just have different priorities and people. So I'm going to read a little bit about what this NAR, the National Association of Realtors, has come out. Well, they have proposed banning most off. I'm reading this from Inman. I get a lot of my news from Inman. I love Inman. I love Brad Inman. I love their publication. So I want to put a plug in for Inman. All right. When the National Association, this is from Jim Daryl Milple is one of my favorite writers. He's always got the red meat. Basically, NAR's proposed banning most off-market and pocket listings in early October, and it's set off like a debate between different brokers. Basically, multiple listing services around the country are taking sides, and they're deciding whether or not they want to implement this. And what has happened is, I don't want to foreshadow here, but our real estate war segment is going to talk about this, and a certain company who's actually threatening to sue an MLS. So a lot of the different large brokers, their CEOs and stuff are taking positions. Glenn Kelman from Redfin and supports the ban of pocket listings. And it says, and I quote, this is from the Darrell, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Jim's article at Inman. The industry has a long history of cooperating so that any consumer can see all the homes for sale. I don't think people realize how easily the dream can collapse. and I don't think they realize the stakes. I don't really even know what that means. Okay, I guess he supports. Redfin uses coming soon, which allow a listing but to go up early but significantly. He also said that feature was in response to widespread industry practices rather than Redfin's actual desire to create so they do exactly what he's saying they should ban doing. Sounds like some hypocrisy. It would be much better if we all played by the same rules. Well, what are the rules? I mean, look, if someone wants, like, again, pocket listings, I don't particularly like them for me in my situation. Like if I was the seller, but I own a property management company. I have access to many more resources than the average consumer, right? And my clients get to use those resources, right? But for someone who's 900 years old who just says, my wife died yesterday and I just want to move into a retirement home. I want a quick sale. I don't want to do a bunch of work. That's okay, right? We don't advocate taking advantage of this person. Get them the best price you can with the best terms.
I think that is it right there about taking advantage of someone.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line.
Assholes who are out there trying to screw people over. There's a special place in hell for those people, right? And they are out there. Let's not fool ourselves. It's just. Like on cue, like all these ghouls and stuff my brother has at this house are going off. Like you couldn't have planned that better. Anyway, Nick Bailey, Remax chief customer, respect the spirit of the proposal, and have seen similar policies work in local markets, but whether or not it's the right solution at the national level remains to be seen. Nick Bailey, that's a well thought out response because look, if one MLS wants to do it, I don't like the idea of a blanket national policy. I think you should legislate. People should legislate closest to their homes, right? So, again, I'm not a fan of the ban. I'm not.
I would agree. I think this is more of an ethics issue,
right,
than a policy issue. And when people say play by the rules, look what. The rules are to follow the contract, follow the law of the contract, and that's rule number one.
Right.
But two, I think this ban, I think it leans more into, look, our fiduciary as our job when we sign a contract with a seller is to do what's right for the seller. And
right. So the other side of this is, so I say I'm not a fan of the ban, but there are what does suck is that sometimes you're an agent and someone finds out this property is for sale, that someone's shopping it, that you can't get access to. Makes you look bad as an agent, like you don't have access. Some agencies will use this to try to keep both sides of the commission. The way commissions work now is there is a fee that is negotiated with the seller. I don't know, it could be anywhere from a flat fee of nothing,
$1.
$1, I guess, to 6-7%. It's all negotiable. And typically, what happens, there's a blanket offer for compensation that goes with that listing, where the listing broker will offer a selling broker or buyer's broker a certain fee. All right, percentage. Usually, it's usually around 50% of what they sign the listing contract for. I'm just again, painting with broad strokes to simplify this. Now, if you listen to our earlier episodes, we talk about the lawsuit that has been filed against NAR and many of the large brokerages and franchisors. And they have, basically these people are saying that this requiring the seller to pay the buyer's commission, the buyer's agent or buyer's broker commission, is collusion, right? So there is, so what some people will try to do with the pocket listing is they'll listed for 5 or 6% or whatever percent or whatever dollar amount, they'll try to get both sides, right? So they'll get 100% of the commission versus just the listing side. And that, infuriates some people. As I've stated very publicly, I think that the outcome of this lawsuit that's been filed by some big law firms is that the blanket offer of compensation will be gone, and that buyers' agents will have to negotiate with their buyers directly, which I'm absolutely fine with, to be honest. I am more than happy to do the value proposition, take the Pepsi challenge, and say, here, This is what we're willing to do, and this is the fee we're willing to charge. And if you want, some people will do limited service, some people will do full service,
flat fee service.
Yeah, my goal, like I say, you sell the experience. Look, the lifetime experience. That is how you show value to your clients who hopefully become your friends, or who are already your friends and become your clients. So anyway, so Compass. Bright MLS is MLS, I believe, on the East Coast. It's a large one. They have implemented this policy that there are no pocket listings, and our friends at Compass, which is not yet in Phoenix, they are Bright MLS and Compass. Compass is threatening to sue the MLS to allow for pocket listings. So that's our real estate war.
Real estate
So Bright MLS, so basically, I think Compass has served. Compass is a large brokerage. I think they're on both coasts. They're getting a lot of money from SoftBank. We talk about Compass a lot in earlier episodes. I won't get into who they are that much. Let me Google that for you if you want to get into it. But basically, they're getting a ton. They're I guess they aren't a startup brokerage anymore, but they've gotten a ton of investment from the Japanese group SoftBank. Rapid expansion. They consider themselves to be almost more a technology company than as much as a real estate company. But basically, Bright MLS is basically telling Compass, bring it on. Come on, go ahead and sue us. That we didn't just jump into this policy, that this was well thought out and articulated. And we're going to see what Compass does next. If they're going to try to fight this ban, and if NAR tries to really implement a policy nationwide, what's going to happen? I don't know.
I guess my question is, what's to say that an offer received by a seller from a buyer for a pocket listing might not be the best thing for that seller? And isn't the seller the one who can decide?
Yeah, I think we talk about the benefits. What are the benefits of doing going, they can go to Open Door and get an instant offer, right? They can go to Zillow and get an instant offer. Like, I can give you an instant offer.
Well, and that's just it. There's so many options. I think in the past month or so, I've been calling and checking into about 12 different either wholesalers or iBuyers or disruptors per se, and it is so easy now to get a half dozen cash offers to present to your seller.
Right, and this is basically the NAR policy. Still, I'm going to read a little bit. This is from the Inman article. The NAR policy is still under consideration, but shortly after it was announced, Bright MLS adopted a slightly edited version of the proposal as a rule for its roughly 95,000 Mid-Atlantic region members. Beginning in December, Bright MLS members who break the new rule will also face $5,000 fines. I mean, well, what if someone says, give me an Open Door offer, is that a pocket listing? Because Open Door pay you a 1% referral.
Correct.
Wow. The letter goes on to argue that requiring Bright MLS members to post their listings facilitates a market that benefits consumers, and that it thwarts potential discrimination against certain demographics of buyers. So, interesting about all this, too, is there was a study that was done where brokers and agents are getting slammed for lack of transparency when it comes to commission. And it's funny because people talk about standard fees. Like, well, there's no standard fee. Like, there are typical fees that people charge, 5, 6, 7%, whatever. I don't think most people charge 7 anymore, but you negotiate that fee individually. And consumers and agents negotiate what that fee and what those services are and stuff. So when someone says, what's the standard fee? I'm like, well, there really isn't one. What do I charge? I could tell you what I charge. People have some brokerages have policies that they say this is what our fees are, and this is what you should charge if you work here. Some people are flat fees. They charge you $1,000. Put a sign in the yard, and that's all you get. Sign, maybe, and on the MLS. So, I'm not here to tell you what's the right answer. But if you want to talk about what my fees are, I'll tell you what what I charge and what you get for it.
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 Yeah. So anyway, Real Estate Wars. We're going to continue to monitor this. I don't want to get too far into the weeds on it today.
Too late.
Oh yeah, we kind of have we've gone around and around, but with that, we're gonna we went long today, and we're gonna have to get off. Jesse, I want to thank you for the hospitality.
Thank you for showing up. I was not expecting this. I was expecting to come see you at the Biltmore, and all of a sudden, boom,
you know,
to deliver your second place trophy right here in the farm.
I got, you got the hat. I don't know where the second place, the hat from Harry Potter. I brought it. It cost me many thousands of dollars, but that is my commitment to you. It's my commitment to your second place, and I just wanted to be here to support you emotionally after you were whooped so soundly.
I
last
think I'm
night.
doing just fine.
So those, like I said, we do a Halloween contest every year, and this year things got pretty heated. A Halloween yard decorating contest, and I will say, Jesse and Brian's house has a formidable display. It is they are a worthy opponent, and we had a lot of fun doing it, and look forward to keep doing it here until
it's a tradition.
Until we ourselves are skeletons. So anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. This is Scot Pekarek, Real Estate World Podcast. We just great show today, and really excited for next week where, I'm not going to tell you what we're going to talk about, but it will be groundbreaking, and I promise that it will be controversial. And with that, we're out of here. Let's roll.
You forgot your exit. We're not promised tomorrow. Well, this is mine.
Oh!
We're not promised tomorrow, so make today great is mine.
Yeah, well, I say make every second count because you don't know how many you got left. Let's roll. Boom!
Out.